Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my late husband's possible affair baby any money? My husband passed away almost 3 years ago, leaving me a solo mom of an 8-year-old. I've learned a lot about who he really was since then. Let's just say that if he were alive, we wouldn't still be married. About 6 weeks ago, a process server showed up trying to serve him with a court order to submit DNA for a kid. I gave him a copy of the death certificate and sent him on his way. Shortly after that, a woman shows up on my doorstep saying that the kid she had with her was my late husband's child. Is it? I don't know and I don't care. It kind of looks like him, but also looks young enough that they would have had to have been conceived very, very shortly before his death. I told her that he was gone and where she could find his grave. She almost immediately started demanding her half of his estate. I laughed and told her that half of nothing was nothing and she was welcome to that. Where I've been informed that I might be TA is that while it's true there was no estate, there were assets that passed outside of probate. One of those assets was a rental property that his parents gave us years ago, deeded with him and I as joint tenant with rights of survivorship. In short, it became mine when he died. I've already sold it and that will be the money that sends my kid to college. Legally, I'm good. Already talked to my attorney about this. While I feel bad for this child, I also have a child of my own to look out for. I'm going to edit this to answer a few questions that I've gotten. No, there was no will in place for him. In my state, intestate inheritance laws say that if the only heirs are me and my child, then the first $50,000 of the estate go to me and my child gets half of what's left. If this does turn out to be his child, then half of the estate would go to me and half to the children. My child would get 25% and the other child would get 25%. However, that is a moot point because his estate was literally an empty bank account and $40 in cash. Everything else passed outside of probate. A good estate attorney is worth every penny, even if I never could get him to meet with her to do his will. There was no life insurance. Yes, I'm in the US and my child is receiving survivor's benefits. They aren't huge, but they do pay for the therapy bills. He hadn't worked for a vast majority of our marriage, but luckily did have enough credits to qualify. At this point, I'm not opposed to helping the other child receive the same benefits since it won't affect mine. However, my attorney has recommended to hold off at this time because we don't know what she's planning. She assures me that if the other mother files with Social Security, that they will backdate any payments to at least the date filed, so holding off won't affect the total amount if it does turn out to be his child. I have no idea if she knew he was married at the time or not. My husband's parents are alive, but our relationship is strained at best. I haven't told them about any of this and have done my best to let them keep believing that their son was a saint. Update. So, it is his child, or at least there's enough shared DNA to determine that my in-laws are the grandparents and there's no way that it's their other sons. The biggest update is that the mother doesn't currently have custody. I'm still a bit unsure of the timeline, but there might have already been a CPS case open when she first contacted me. She's apparently a fan of the same illicit substances that my husband was. That would explain how they met. Unfortunately, that means that the child is now in foster care. My in-laws were not deemed an appropriate placement, and I won't do it. I have been working with the caseworker with regards to getting Social Security benefits for the child. In my state, survivor benefits offset any child support obligations, so even if there was an estate, the SS benefits most likely exceed the amount he would owe based on his work history prior to death. This hasn't affected my own child's benefits. I still haven't determined exactly what I will do with this information going forward. I have set aside some money in an online savings account, but it's still in my name, until the mother's rights are completely terminated or the child ages out of the system. I don't want anything that would possibly give her access to it. I will also eventually have to tell my child that there is a sibling out there. I've been through the ringer over the last couple of months and I'm still just so mad that I'm still cleaning up my husband's mess.